Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there, just to let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's had a fantastic morning so far. Looking forward to trading with you guys today. Let's go over our disclaimer. As always, got to remind you about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're doing that each and every time. Okay, guys, so I have a couple of trade opportunities I've been thinking about. One second here, I'm just looking at a couple of things. I wish I did this earlier, dang it. I wanted to do the euro pound short, and we still might. I just might wait for a pop again. That one looks really good. The other trade that I would be interested in would be, let's see here. I was gonna say, yeah, I'd like to short the euro franc too. It's a little late, but let's actually go take a look. Here's what I want to do with all three of these. Let's kind of go to a higher time frame. So here's the pound franc. It broke up like we were talking about yesterday. We were buying down here to break up quite a bit. It's pulled back since. I'm not exactly sure what to do with this one at this point, whether a buy or sell. I think it looks more like a sell than a buy, honestly. Which, let's see, where is it? We could, since I want to sell both of these, I could sell the euro pound and the pound franc. We could do something like that. Let's see. Let's go to the euro pound. That's pulling back into some demand areas. So that's why I'm like, I would like to wait for it to come up and then short it again. And then the euro franc, that's tough to say too. That one is coming down. And then we looked at the pound franc. So all of these I want to kind of short, it feels like. That's at least the vibe I'm getting. One second here, guys. I'm just trying to get some more information. Yeah, because this one is technically coming into a demand area where a buy could make sense, but I mean, I guess I could buy it, but and then this euro pound, trying to see if it's coming into an area. Technically it is, there is some demand here, so that's what scares me about a sell right now. That's kind of why I'm like, maybe I should wait for this to come up first and then try for a sell type of thing. I mean, let's see, it could stop there, and then technically there's some areas where a good stopping point would be on the euro pound, could be like right there. So I mean, I could totally see this thing coming down to here before it pops up. Totally see that. And this pound franc, I could see this coming down to here and then going up type of thing. But at the same time, I feel like I want to short this one too. I know that sounds funny, but I feel like shorting this makes sense. So I'm going to do something kind of funny. And I'm not going to take a huge position yet, but I'm going to take a couple of shorts on the euro pound, but I'm also going to do the same thing on the pound franc. I know it sounds kind of funny to do, but I'm going to do it. Let's see, how many did I go? Oh, I got a few extra on the pound franc. Let's do some more over here. There we go. Okay, so and I'll explain my reasoning for this again, but okay, so the pound franc's kind of easier to explain. So with this guy, most retail traders are buyers right now. And so we want to be sellers just because retail trading bias is that direction. So I'm trying to become a seller here. I know it's dipping into some potential demand here, but I mean, that's on a 5-minute chart. If you look at the overall picture though, like an hourly, forget the 5-minute demand, but you come out here, it just double topped up here, right? It actually hit supply on a higher time frame just recently, right? So when you look at the higher time frame, you're like, oh, okay, I see why that could go down now, right? And then if you're, that makes more sense. Okay. Why that could come down. The 5-minute, the 1-minute chart may not look like it, but again, I'm trying to, whenever I'm taking these trades, I mention this nearly every day, but I'm always trying to build around the higher time frame, because if I'm wrong on the short term, I can get help from the higher time frame bias. It's kind of like the market, the judge in the market is the higher time frame, and the judge allows the market to kind of do what it wants on a shorter time frame. But if it starts veering too far away from what the judge wants, then all of a sudden, um, the judge can make a correction. And so I'm trying to align myself with the judge here, if that makes sense. So, could be wrong on the short term, but, very short term, but I feel like I'm in the right direction here. So, okay. And then let's see what else. Okay. So, and then in terms of the euro pound, let's talk about that one. Same thing, retail sentiments flip directions, and it's just incredibly short right now. Just the last 3 days in a row, we've been selling this, and each time it's broken a new low. Yesterday, the low we were working with was, I'm trying to remember where it was. Oh yeah, it was this right here. We were selling, this is where the class was yesterday with the euro pound. We sold somewhere in here, and then in the class, or just barely after the class, this breakdown happened, and that's where we made some of our money. And I'm just basically looking to do the same thing today. I don't consider this a strong demand area. I really don't. Okay. This is not a strong demand area. The stronger demands are right here, and technically like right here. And I bet you, and then there's even one all the way down here that's a little bit better. I bet you if you pull up Sonar Lab, you probably would see that. Let's go to some higher time frames. Okay, so that the 15-minute saying there is one there, but that's on a lower time frame. Let's see what the hires. Yeah, hires says there's one down here, 30-minute, and then 45-minute says all the way down here. So there's not even one close by. Let's see. Okay, yeah, here you go. This is where it is on the 1 hour, just kind of right in there. And we haven't quite touched it yet. And then the 2 hour, yep, it's exact. This is kind of what I thought. Yep, this is exactly what I thought. So the 2 hour time frame. So again, the higher time frame is saying that right here, basically in each of my purple boxes, I was saying that there's some demand. Yeah, the next demand's not even until technically, let me move my box to align with that green box. Right there is the next demand. That's why I'm thinking this might pull back another 10 pips or so before it goes up. That's why I'm saying it's not a good time to buy yet, even though it's been coming down and you think like, oh, it looks like a good buy. Not quite. And then there's some more down here, and then there's that last one that I drew out right here. So again, I do think that this thing is still due for some more down before it goes up. Yeah. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and place these targets. So again, I'm thinking, okay, where is that level that I'm thinking about? So with this euro pound, basically right here is my target. 0.87602 is where I'm thinking this is going to go. 0.87602. You might be able to flip around and do a buy once it gets there, but I mean, definitely I couldn't say for sure. But yeah, basically right here is a good target. So those are kind of my basic reasons for going short today on the euro pound is this technical analysis right here. The fact that we're really not at a good order block. In fact, there really is no higher time frame order block yet. And the character of the market is still to the downside, right? Like there's so many things you can look at here. You've got this head and shoulders right here. Okay. And there's one up there. So you've got massive head and shoulders pattern that's sending the market down. This is technically this most recent pivot. That's a lower high than the previous high. There is no real significant demand. Again, you can say there's demand on a lower time frame for sure, but there really isn't any significant demand until you start coming down into here, and that's still another 9 or 10 pips away. That's why I think we're going to get a quick little good scalp out of this as this continues down, because so far the narrative, if you look at all this stuff up here on the higher time frame, it's still very much bearish. Okay. So I think I think we're going to get that. And then so now that we've established the euro pound, going to the pound franc, again, you have a double top up here. Most traders are, in fact, let me double check. Let's go to a Wanda real quick. Here, 1 second. I need to hide my screen, or let me just do this because I just got to log into my account real quick. Yeah, a lot of you, or some of you asked me about the, some of you asked me about how to get access to the SSI with a Wanda. Yeah, it's totally free. You just have to make an account with them. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about right here. So, oh, where did it go? Here we go. So right now, 70% of Awanda's retail traders, these are Trader John's or Trader Average, maybe we'll do that just because I don't want to offend anybody that's John, because you don't have to be the Trader John. I'm just saying Trader Average over here, average trader is 70%, over 70% long on the pound franc. So it makes a ton of sense that this thing just got rejected when it came right up to here. Just got rejected at that supply and it just came right down and looks like it may continue down. So that's my thoughts there. Actually, let me pull this up. I'm curious. So they're saying there's some supply here. Let's do a 1H. Yeah, they're saying there's some right there. How about a 3H? Yeah, right there. Oh, is this? Oh, the 4-hour time frame is saying this is all supply. This whole thing. Wow. Well, it makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, and just because I know that most retail traders are selling this or buying this right now. So since they're buying, I know the banks, anytime the banks get a chance to send this lower, they probably will. So that's the other reason why I felt good about that. And then, oh yeah, where do we target on that one? Let's go to, yeah, maybe a lower time frame. Find a target. So as far as lower time frame demand goes, again, I wouldn't count this as a really strong demand area, this support level. I would say that the demand that's going to hold on is down here and right here. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, short on the pound franc to here. Oh, that's pretty good. Like we could probably get a good amount on this if this comes down. So yeah, maybe I'll try to go to like 113.6, maybe like 113.70, or just, yeah, 113.70, I'll probably go. So, and for those of you that are just logging in, we took a short on the pound, on the euro pound and a short on the pound franc. And so that's going to be kind of our two trades this morning. All right, so I said 113.70. I don't know if it'll get down to that one, but we might as well try. So 113.70 is a good target. If this pound franc decides to go up a little bit, that's just going to accelerate the euro pound to the downside here. So we'll close out of that one a lot quicker if that happens. Which is fine. That's great. But then let's see what else I'm going to say about this. The thing is, they're just both so bearish. So that's why I'm feeling good. Feeling good. It's kind of like a hedge almost because you're buying the pound on one side and selling the pound on the other, but they're both just so incredibly bearish right now. That's why I feel like one of these is really going to hit the target. The other one, here's what would be kind of like an ideal situation. Well, I guess ideal is both of these just go to their targets. Both of these just win, right? And then the other scenario is one just crashes through the take profit, absolutely just demolishes the take profit. And then the other option, and then basically with that, the other one just kind of flatters out. Like it just kind of breaks even, little profit, maybe tiny loss type of thing. But the other one's just going to immediately, just go to the target. That would be kind of the expectation today. Basically that's the scenario I really believe is going to happen. And I think what's probably going to take place is the pound franc may go up or may just kind of go sideways, but then this euro pound is going to just get demolished. Okay. So, and again, this is where we're going on for those of you that are trading the euro pound too short, we're taking profits at 0.87600 basically, 0.87600. And then, but yeah, that's the thing though. Like even let's say the euro pound comes in here, crashes to that take profit, and this euro pound and the pound franc goes up. Man, there's a lot of good selling areas up there that I may consider adding to. Either way, so we're basically just doing two trades today. One of them should just outdo the other ultimately. Feel kind of bad. I wish I had gotten into this trade just before the webinar. That would have been ideal to be in like right there, but it's okay. Obviously, we'll make it work. Okay, and then, oh yeah, let's update you guys on some of our swing trades. So these are obviously with swing trades, you have to be patient with them, right? You can't just expect to make all your money right away, but this one's actually in the money. We're actually profitable on this trade. So let's actually, because again, they're swing trades, so they're on a higher time frame. Here's the trade setup. In fact, while I'm doing this, let me pull this to the other screen so I can monitor our trades, our bankers close trades. Okay, so this one's already in the money. We sold right here. And it's not too late, by the way, for those of you that haven't gotten in, it's definitely not too late. Like my take profit on this USD CAD trade, I am going for 144 pips and I'm only up 15 pips right now, 14 pips right now. So we are just getting started with this trade opportunity. It's going to be exciting. Okay. And let's go over the analysis here because this one is one of the most obvious trades I've ever taken. Okay. Um, I don't know if it's most obvious, but it's, how do I say it? It's like, it's a no duh trade. Okay. And I want you guys to be able to at least start recognizing the no duh trades right away so that you can start analyzing maybe the more trickier trade setups. So let's break this down. You can already see part of my analysis on why this is a good trade setup. But first of all, um, there's a lot of stuff going on here and a lot of stuff to break down. And I didn't really get to write it all out on Telegram. And so I'm going to show you why this is such a phenomenal trade opportunity. Okay. So first of all, you go back with the USD CAD. You can go back quite far. This is all the way back in October. You can see it came up and up and up, and then it formed a nice head and shoulders. You guys can see that. That's just staring at you right in the face. I guess you could use either one of these as the shoulder. And then that commenced the move to the downside, and it crushed all sorts of records and lows here. And then it came back up, retested some supply up in here, and did the exact same thing. It made a high, came up, came back down, came up, made a slightly larger high, came back down, made a lower low, tried one more time, failed, and then that was just the clue, the signal to send to the entire market, hey, this is over. And then it came down and this is where it got really interesting. Usually this kind of stuff happens in an uptrend like this. This was a nice move to the upside. This happened. This one was in a massive uptrend, and then this occurred, right? And then this just happened again. We just had another one, right? But this one's even more interesting because it formed a shoulder here, came up, formed a head, came down, and formed the shoulder line, came up, formed a head. But this shoulder line is already at support. So you can tell this market is just, oh my gosh, struggling to stay up here. It is struggling to stay up. Okay. So that is a huge signal that this thing just can't hold itself. So here's my question to you guys. When you're trading supply and demand zones, what's the chance of this supply or this demand area to hold if this thing's already so bearish? No, this demand's not going to matter as much. This demand doesn't really matter right here. So I found a sneaky little demand right here that I think is a better place to close at. So plus, let me ask you this question. Where do you think most people, by the way, I'm recording this because I'm super stoked to come back and like share this and be like, yeah, we called this trade because this is a really, really good trade. Again, disclaimer though, please don't mortgage your house and put all your money on this trade. But yes, take the trade like you normally would take a trade. That's all I'm asking you to do. Take the trade like you normally would take a trade. Put in an appropriate lot size for your account. Please do not risk your entire account. Even though I'm feeling pretty good about this trade opportunity, just trade like normal every single time. Doesn't matter what type of trade setup it is, just trade like normal. All right. Okay, so this is a little sneaky demand area that I was really excited about. Plus, this is what I was going to say. Where do you guys think most of the buyers, the retail traders, I call them Trader Johns. I think I'm going to change the name because I don't want to offend anybody that's John. Let's go like trader average trader. Where do you think the average trader has their stop loss on a buy position right now? So let's say you're flipped on this, you're a buyer, not a seller, which honestly, rest in peace, man. Like if you're a buyer, absolutely rest in peace because like you're going to get so wrecked on this trade if you're a buyer right now. I'm telling you, because the writing is on the wall on this trade. Okay. Um, uh, so, okay. So where do they have their stop losses? Just below this support level right here, right? Just below support. So we know that that level is going to break. There's no way that's going to hold. So the liquidity is right here. This is where liquidity is. Okay. So it's almost assured, and not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed, but it is basically writings on the wall that the market at the very least is going to hear. And that's 121 pips away. Now, can it have a detour along the way? Can it go up first and then down? Sure. Like we could see another, the open interest on this currency pair is the highest out of all currency pairs in the market right now. Out of every single currency pair in the Forex market, in the last 24 hours, the open interest has increased more than any other pair. What that means is there's been more positions, buys and sells, just money flooding into this pair. So open interest is basically just the aggregate, like um, proportional to what already existed, to however many longs and shorts were out there. Open interest is just a measurement that's like, hey, um, we've increased, this currency pair has had more money flood into it than any other currency pair in the market. Okay. So there are more buys than ever. There is also more institutional sells right now, and the few people like you and me that are trying to sell with the banks. Okay. But as far as trader average goes, I know how trader average is today. He's going to be buying this all the way down and it's going to be dropping. And he's going to be like, it's got to go up sometime soon. It's got to go up. It's got to, it's just coming down, but it's got to go up. I know how it is. I've been there for years, right? So, and he's going to go into Friday in a drawdown. And if he's smart enough, he's just going to take his loss and go to the weekend. Um, Otherwise, he's going to go into the weekend losing, and I'm telling you, it's just going to get worse on Monday. Okay. So, and I don't know how many bullish opportunities they're going to get to close out their trades. You can actually swoop down to a lower time frame, like a 1 minute, and you can kind of see sure, on a 1 minute, there's always moves up, there's always moves down, but even look at the price action here, guys, just on the 1 minute. Writing's on the wall. Every time it makes a high, what's going on with these highs? They're basically lower than the previous high, right? I mean, there's a few in there that are different, but generally speaking, each low is just getting lower and lower and lower. And look at the lows down here too. Technically, this one was kind of a steeper low, but um, most of these lows are technically getting lower than the previous low. Writing's on the wall, guys. The clues are there. If I'm just gonna say it this way, if the retail trader loses this trade, it's kind of their own fault, man. Like it sucks. I wish they'd join my service and come and learn about these kinds of things. But like I used to be this guy. So I've kind of paid my dues a little bit. Literally, like I've actually given money back to the thousands of dollars back to the market on trades just like this where I was a buyer and not the seller. Okay. And I've lost my absolute butt on these trades. So on this trade, I'm a little bit more confident. So I'm risking 2% of my account. So on my $200,000 account, I'm risking 4 grand on this trade. And I'm trying to make, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand on this, right? That's the ultimate goal. And most of that money is coming from dumb money, right? Like that's going to come from it's going into my coffers and it's from the average retail trader. It's from their account, right? Where that money's coming from. And the banks they know this too. And here's how so obviously there's this 1 minute chart, and then you go to a higher time frame. And we've already established the higher time frame, stuff over here that really matters. And the writing's on the wall. It's all there. And then the 1 minute chart's also doing the same thing. It's about as correlated as it comes. Okay. And then you head out to, I've shown you guys this tool before, right? Like IG. So IG or Daily FX, IG is a company in England. They tell you where retail sentiment is. They show you open interest. This is similar to the COT report, but it's more based on the retail trader, what the retail trader is doing. Because when we do COT report on Wednesday night, we're looking at what the big banks are doing, but we only get one chance a week to look into what the banks are doing, just one chance a week, which that'll come out later this afternoon. And then tomorrow I'll send a Telegram update to let you guys know what the big banks are doing. But as far as the retail trader goes, this is all here. So these are basically IG's clients, and they're telling you, how many, like the change in long positions, the change in short positions. So like you can see right here with the USD CAD, in the last 24 hours, open interest increased by 10%. That's actually a huge move, especially if you compare all the other stuff that they measure here on IG. Euro franc had a 6% outflow of cash, but the USD CAD had a 10% influx. It's kind of a big deal. But then here's what also matters. So they've increased their long position. So the retail trader has increased their long positions by 12%. The interesting thing though is they've also increased on the short side, which is kind of interesting. And that could just be that there's enough good traders like you and me that are also selling too. But definitely more people buying than selling. And if you look at the net long and short positions, yeah, most people are long on this right now. There are a few, obviously there's always going to be buyers and sellers. That's what a market is. But there's definitely a lot more buyers and sellers. And that's a good thing for you and me because that's going to create an opportunity for us right here. Oh, wow, that is really running to the downside. That's perfect. Let's see this. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it, off to the races. Let's go, right? So I'm just grateful that we're in the right direction there because that's going to get. So here's what you have here. You have the higher time frame and the lower time frame all telling you what to do. Everything's telling you what to do here, okay? Writing's on the wall. And then you go and just get confirmation. So you don't even really need to check this out, but it's a nice little confirmation to be like, oh, okay, what are the little guys doing? Oh, okay, the little guy is, you know, little guy is selling or buying the USD CAD. Okay, that's helpful. Also, on the flip side, this is what helped us with the Aussie yen trade. So this is another trade that we're in. Similar thing, open interest is increased. That's not as big here though. But look at the shorts. So there's been an 8% increase in the last 24 hours. Well, it's not even 24 hours. This is just since the new trading day because the trading day changes, every day at like 6 p.m. Mountain. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. That's a new trading day. So in basically what 15 hours, there's been an 8% increase in retail shorts and a -4% decrease in long positions. So, this is definitely a trade that I'm excited about. I think this one is down though, if I recall. USD CAD's doing great, but this one I don't think. Oh, I guess it's coming back up, but I'm just down slightly on this one. So this is where I entered right here. You can see my trade. This is where I entered up here. Overnight, at one point, I was down, I guess, 48 pips, but now I'm down 17 pips on this trade, or 19 pips on this trade. So, and yeah, I'm just waiting for this to basically shoot up to here. And there's a reason why I have my target up there. And again, the average retail trader is short on this. So if the average retail trader is selling, again, that's terrible news. Okay, so what else can you find here that's very helpful on this trade setup in particular? A couple of things, guys. So there's a lot of things you're deciphering in the past to kind of tell you what's going on here with this trade, which by the way, guys, here's our little update over here on our trade setups. Okay, so euro pound is starting to come down quite a bit. The pound franc did go up. I guess that's a natural phenomenon, right? To have the pound franc go up just a little bit. I will probably add a couple of trades to that in a little bit here. Let's see. When do I want to do that? And strike. I might just add a couple of trades here because I do feel good about, I'll just add one now, and then maybe I'll add a few more sell limits up here just in case it does pop up. Just while we're talking, I'm just going to have a few sell limits ready to go. But this does look pretty good. And those euro pound trades, hopefully they're about halfway there to their targets. Once one of these hits their targets, then we can just focus on closing out the other trade. Okay. And this is the same concept. Like with the pound franc, most traders are buying the pound franc right now. And so we're trying to be, doing the opposite of what they're doing, and we're going to sell instead. Okay, we're just still waiting. That is being pretty slow today, but we're just waiting. Okay, so this trade is exciting. Let's break this one down just similar to the USD CAD. In all honesty, I think the USD CAD had a little bit of a better analysis. There is still a really good analysis behind this that I think can help you find those clues. The reason why I shared the USD CAD first is because I feel like it was one of the more obvious trades to take, right? There was three or four reverse head and shoulders built in on that higher time frame, lower highs, lower lows, so many different line items that you could just list as to why that thing is going to come down. And then you're just getting confirmation about that when you go look at how retail sentiment looks, right? But you come over here to the Aussie yen. Here's how you break down the chart. So you're looking at this chart and you start to notice a couple of things. First of all, here, let me delete that. You look at the most recent pivots, right? So like here's a pivot up here. Here's a pivot down here. You got a pivot up here. Technically, this is a pivot. And down here, and then one up here. So, and I guess one last one right here. So these are the pivots, and each pivot is getting higher tick. Well, most of these are getting, like these ones are, each one's higher than the previous high. This one's high, this one's higher than the previous high, this one's higher than the previous high, and this one's higher than the previous high. These lows are higher than the previous lows, except this one. This is the only anomaly, right? And that is something to definitely pay attention to, and that's going to matter into your analysis. But I would also just argue and just bring up to the fact that it is only one out of all of these other ones that are proving to the upside. So this is the only one where you might raise an eyebrow and be like, hey, we just made a lower low right here, and it's lower than this low. Okay, so that would raise an eyebrow, but everything else checks out. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I guess I expand out a little bit more. Couple of other things are going on over here. So I guess this low was a low, but then the lows after it are higher than the previous low, right? So those are clues, right? What other clues can we kind of break down when we're looking at this chart? So this is structure, right? So why is that a structure point? And so is this right here technically. So originally this market did a couple of things. So it made a nice support level right here at a resistance level, and then probably had a news event back in December that caused it to crash like that, right? And it broke a structure level. So that's a change of character. So when this kind of thing happens, you're thinking sells, but you don't know about all this in the future coming. So at the time you're thinking, oh, hey, this is coming down. Okay, it's retesting a support level. Okay, we got to think sell opportunities, right? You're still thinking sell opportunities until, actually not even until recently. This is what matters, because the market right here, and this just happened Tuesday of this week, this market broke above, it broke above, and it broke above this structure point right here. So this is kind of my focus, is that right there. And it broke above that. That is a change of character. Okay, it's also a break of structure. And it's a change of character because of everything it was doing already. It was brewing and building a buyer's fortress down here, because you got higher highs, higher lows, and then subsequently we get a disrespectful break of structure that had been caked in since December, right? And then it broke it. So now we are looking for buy opportunities. The sell narrative is over. Okay. Now that you have that really strong, it didn't quite do it here. It didn't quite do it there. It tried. now the narrative has switched, and the narrative is to look for buy opportunities. Also, another little clue that you can look for, and this is why, again, I'm buying right now. I'm not a seller, but other little clue that you can look at. I was going to say, okay, so we talked about the higher highs, higher lows, break of structure right here. Oh, yes, this is what I'm going to say. So notice how in the past here, the market came up earlier on in this consolidation here on the higher time frame that's been built in. Every time it hit a structure level, it got wiped out. It got wiped out. It works so hard, and boom, got wiped out. It does the same thing in here. Works so hard, works right here, works so hard, gets to structure and gets wiped out. What has happened now? It's working so hard and it's holding on to what it's worked so hard to build. Okay, that is a clue. That is a very strong clue. Okay, very strong clue here, because if this thing did not like these prices up here, it would just come down just like it did back here, but that is not happening. Okay, since that is not happening, and why is that not happening? Well, it's because every trader in the world is looking at this, or at least professional traders looking at this, because we know the retail traders are selling this right now, but the professional traders are coming out here and saying, hey, we got to change a character, we got to break a structure right here. We've got higher highs, higher lows. We're going long. Like, they're made that realization, we're going long, we're not going short now, right? This is going to the upside. Okay. And so that's the chart analysis. And I'm sure there's other things you could break down here too. Which, by the way, actually, one last thing I want to break down before I move on to the next thing. As far as chart analysis goes, which, by the way, guys, I'm just going to add one more little short on that pound franc. That's looking good to me. So I just added another little short there. Okay. One little thing, as far as figuring out your take profit, since we have a pretty good hunch that this thing wants to make new highs from here, we just got the signal that this thing wants to go up and up and up and up. We just got the okay that this wants to keep going up and up and up and up. Okay, so now how do we know how far this is going to go? That's a little more tricky, but there are a lot of really good potential areas. So what I did is I came back here to find, okay, like where is structure back here? What caused it? So I was looking for the most common like resistance level back here. And I felt like this was kind of it right here. You can kind of see, can I use like an ellipse? Yeah, let's see. I've never used one of these. Oh, that's cool. I need to get better at using TradingView's chart analysis, especially because I do a lot of demonstration. But this was kind of a common there, right? That's what I wanted to do. And then this was a common area right through here, right? And that was the most common like support level that I could find. Okay, so since that's a structure point, I wanted to find out, okay, well, what broke it? What broke this structure point in the past? I think it's this up here. So basically, whatever happened in this consolidation was enough to break that support level. And it did it technically another time right here. Oops. Basically this area, whatever supply is kind of pumped up inside this area is what allowed this market to break what had been built in right here. So whatever's up here, whatever orders were kind of caked up into there is what caused this break and try it again. This is supply. This box is supply. In fact, let's see what SonarLab says. Yeah, they're saying there's definitely some supply up there. They're actually saying there's some there on the hourly, but let's go to like a 2H. Yeah, there it is. Yep, here's the 2 hour. So I just found this on my own, and I just showed you how to find this on your own. But if you want to cheat up and use the indicator, SonarLab, it'll tell you where it is, right? So you can see there's like 5 or 6 institutional sell blocks right there. I'll just cheat mine up just a little bit. That's where the supply is. Okay, so since we know that's where supply is, that's where the market's most likely to come down again. If it goes up to there. So that's kind of why I have my target sitting up there. And the average retail trader has no clue. They have no clue that that's where the market's going to go on the next leg. Okay, that's where it's going to go, right? And this is how I found it. Like, I hope that makes sense. Come back and watch the recording. If you need more help on this, like, I feel like this is a pretty good analysis of what's going on. And this should kind of tell you where the market's going to head next. So anyway, there's that. So this is, let me zoom in here. Let's go back to a 1H. Yeah, this is good. And then that's the technical. So you could find this trade on your own. Like you could literally find this trade opportunity without any other indicator, just you in the chart. It's totally possible. But what else could you do? You could go here and check out, see how they're doing. Well, right, 31% of retail traders are buying this right now, which, oh man, rest in peace. Oh my gosh, seriously. 69% are short. Gosh, they're gonna get killed, man. They're gonna get absolutely crushed. So you can see the daily change, right? They've added more short positions, they've increased their short holdings, and they've decreased their long holdings at such a terrible time, right? Such a terrible time to do. They should be doing the opposite, increasing their longs and decreasing their short positions. But they haven't, unfortunately. So I have kind of a tighter stop loss, to be honest, guys. I mean, it didn't hit. We haven't hit it, but it is a little bit of a tighter stop, which is a little frustrating because you know, here's the nice thing. If you have a tighter stop loss and you win, the money is huge. Okay. If I were to, let's see it, 91.91789. Okay, if I were to increase this stop loss to a point where I'd definitely be safe of not even really hitting it, like if I had a stop loss that's like right there, well, I'm not going to make money on this trade either, because even though I'm safe from loss, from like an immediate loss at least, I can't afford a huge lot size to that level there. So that's my conundrum, I guess. So anyway, I think it was like right here somewhere. But that's what I've got going on. And so I'm trying to keep the stop loss tighter. I guess if I stopped out, I may revisit a re-entry opportunity. Yeah, I might do a re-entry. But yeah, anyway, it's just something to think about. Oh, I'm going to add another short real quick on that pound franc here. In fact, I'll pull that over. So here's what I've got going on over here. So euro pound came back up and now it's headed back down again. Pound franc has mostly been just going up here, which is fine. I think where I'm going to get a lot of my help today on the pound franc, this one's going to be a little more difficult than the euro pound. Euro pound's going to should easily hit those targets. The pound franc I could see this coming up into kind of like this area and then coming down. But either way, I still want to be short on both of these today. I'm feeling good about both of them. It's just going to be a little bit slower going at it. And actually, let me break that down for you guys real quick too. It's a similar thing, but any questions before I go back to the banker's close trades on the Aussie yen or the USD CAD analysis? Oh man, this is awesome. That trade is already just coming down. The floor is coming out, guys. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And then, I didn't really explain this target as much. So this target was basically the reason why I have my target at this purple area is because of this right here. This is the last kind of consolidation before this massive up move right here that was back in September. Okay. So this consolidation really matters. Okay. Could it go below that? Sure. In fact, you could actually see this. You could actually see the USD CAD come down into the kind of that area. In fact, let's see, are there any, can I find some institutional blocks on these higher time frames down here? Yeah, they're saying there's one there and there's one here. Let's see. Yeah, on the 3 hour, they're saying there isn't even one there. It's all the way down here, which could mean there's a lot more to this trade than I've been telling you guys. I would ignore those buy blocks right there on SonarLab. Those are misleading because there's everyone's seeing this. This is what matters. This is what matters. But yeah, this is the type of trade, guys, that I want you to learn how to take, because if you take this type of a trade on an FTMO account with 200K or a MyForex funds account with 200K or Surge Trader or 5%ers, this is the type of trade that buys you a new car. Okay. And I'm not even joking. Like, this is the type of trade, if you be patient and you do your analysis correctly like this, you know, I mean, we took a trade like this, what, 2 weeks ago, we made $15,000 on the CAD yen short, right? Now we're just doing this guy, down to here. And, and if you're trading a small account, that's fine. In fact, quick side note on that. If you're just trading with, $1,000, that's all you have to trade. Good for you. Good for you. I mean, in the beginning, guys, I really just want you using a fake account. Just trade this on a fake account until you feel confident and that you've had several of these wins. Also, little side note, if you're before you trade a funded account, make sure you've had plenty of losses too. You need to feel the sting of a loss and have good analysis go against you. Like, you actually need to have a trade that you thought looked perfect go against you and still have the mentality to stick with it, right? Because who knows, what if this trade lost? I mean, I don't think it will. I think that'd be very bizarre if it did, if this short lost money, but it could, right? And so, um, do you have the mentality to be like, yeah, I can stay another day if I took a loss? This is why I tell you guys, don't ever mortgage your house. Don't ever borrow money that you can't afford to put in this. In fact, don't even borrow money. I know I've told you guys I've done that before. It was my personal decision, right? I told you guys about my trade where I borrowed $10,000. I bought Bitcoin. I bought my house with that money because I was able to, I bought $10,000 of Bitcoin before the last huge rally that we had a couple of years ago. Right. I told you guys about that trade. It was one of the biggest trades I've ever taken because I made like 100 grand on a single trade. And it was a risk though. Like, most everybody I talked to was like, oh, you're going to lose your money. You're going to lose all that. But for me, I was like, okay, if I lose $10,000, I can come back from that. I'll get a job. I can come back, but I feel really good about this trade. And I'm glad I took it because I 10x'd my investment. Which is another thing too, by the way, guys. Like, I've always thought about this. A lot of people think, like, if you're going to take a risk, if you take a risk and that risk you took loses, then you lost everything. The thing is, guys, like, let's think about it this way. If you buy, and I'm not necessarily recommending this, but for me, here's what my mentality was. If I buy $10,000 of Bitcoin back when it wasn't worth as much and it goes to 100 grand, okay, I 10x my money. I now have $10,000 for different investments, right? I chose to use it to buy a house, and now I have a rental property, which is really kind of nice, which now generates income with that too. But now I have 10 different investments, so I could throw $10,000 in another thing. If that one doesn't work, oh well. And then maybe on the third thing you try, you 10x your money. Okay, now you just 10x'd again, right? And you didn't lose a ton of money. Anyway, what I'm saying is high risk, high reward, but I think it's much higher reward than the risk involved. Because when you buy something like Bitcoin, you risk losing your capital, you risk losing what you've entered, but you can't lose more than what you entered on a one-to-one investment like that has the potential to 10x, right? Um, the problem that people have is they just don't try things. They just don't invest, right? They don't do anything. And guys, let me tell you, like, because I put my hand out there and I touch the hot coals sometimes, like I have been burned on plenty of different things. Like, let's see, what have I been really burned on? I've been burned probably just taking trades like this sometimes in the past. Definitely many years ago, like I used to take terrible trades where I'd flip my reward to risk ratio upside down. I would bet the entire account on a single trade. Like I've done really dumb stuff like that. Like I have gambled a market that's not intended to be gambled. Okay. So anyway, it totally can happen, right? I mean, I've done it obviously. All right, guys. So here's the banker's close trade. Obviously, not exactly how I wanted to turn out at this point in the day, but I am still feeling good about these trade opportunities. This is what I want to show you on the pound franc. So here's what I was thinking of my game plan, because this is the one I'm mostly down on right now, as far as a banker's close goes. If I go to a 5 minute or even a 1 minute, let's do a 1 minute. Here's kind of my game plan here. So you can see here on the pound franc, it came up to here, formed a high, came down, came to support, came back up, but then it made a lower high, right? Technically, this low is lower than this previous low right here. Just slightly lower. And so I'm feeling good about the short. And so I've basically got the go ahead on the 1 minute chart to look for opportunities to short here throughout the rest of this afternoon or morning. I'm feeling really good about there as a short. And then I'm also feeling like they could pull back where it is right now. But if it came up to here, this is where you want to add more. It's like an 8-7 pips. And then you should be able to get a pullback from there where you can get all your money back on that trade. So that's kind of my game plan today with the banker's close. So let me actually zoom in myself and go to a 1 minute chart, and I'll show you kind of where this area is going to be. So yeah, so it's basically, this is where I feel like if it came up to here, you're definitely going to get a pullback. So that's where I'm going to put some more trades to sell right in there. Couple of sells in there. And I should be able to make quite a bit of money today still. It's been pretty slow. I'm down 0.2%, so I'm down 1/5 of 1%, and I'm down 70 pips at the moment. So it really hasn't done much yet, but I'm trying to find areas where it's going to be a lot more reactive. Right? Definitely think I can get the move I need there. Or yeah. And so far the euro pound is positive, or it's just barely positive. So I'm really not looking to add to that right now. I'm just looking to hold on that trade right now. And yeah, just waiting for in fact, I'm going to add just one more trade on the pound franc right there, just because this is a good resistance area. It may pull back there. But the area where I'm really excited about is if it pulled up into here. That's 10 pips away. So I'll update you guys. Oh yeah, and then stop losses, what you guys do on the stop loss, you guys know the drill. When you're placing stop losses with the banker's close trade, you go into MATAF, and I'm going to do this quickly because I do want to try to wrap up right at the top of the hour here. You pull up the pound franc, you find out what the average daily range is for the day, and you just wait for it to load. Oh man, it just takes a second. compiling a lot of data, I think. Okay, I'm going to refresh that. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, no, that's just the euro dollar. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so today it's 81.6 pips. What you do is you just take 81.6, divide that by 4, that's 20.4 pips. And then you just come over here and you just go up 20 pips from the current price, and that would be your stop. So basically, right up here is the maximum we're willing to hang on to a trade. Because again, you don't want to have the loss be so significant that, again, you can't recover. Where is the stop loss on here? Oh man, I don't have stop losses. I was doing this the whole time. I didn't have stop loss. Okay, so anyway, I got to wrap up though, guys. But this is where my stops are going. They're going right here, just basically above these highs. And then with the euro pound, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm going to Mataf, typing it in, finding today's average daily range, taking a fourth of the average daily range and making that my stop loss. Okay. So that's how you can manage your banker's close trade for the rest of the day. But I will update you guys on Telegram later, and I'll just I'll do a weekend wrap up as well. So all right, guys, super appreciate your attendance today. Thanks for coming. Oh, by the way, for those of you that want to, I do have a basic training class today that's going to be at noon my time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. It's in 2 hours. If you want to come to the basic training class, feel free to come to that or catch the recording this weekend. That's awesome too. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming, and we'll see you in the next webinar.